Hi, welcome to SBR Videos. I'm Peter Loshak. This is the oddly enough show that we do each week with Swinging Johnson. Right now, it is the Wednesday before Week 1 in the NFL, and the topic of today is going to be Swinging Johnson's Week 1 NFL picks. The markets are bracing. I can feel them trembling right now as we do this call, ready to react to the information that will come over the airwaves when Swinging Johnson reveals his leans and picks. Swinging Johnson, thanks for being back with us.
Loshak, baby, I love the tremors you be talking about, my friend. You know, the football season is upon us, and each and every single Wednesday throughout the NFL season, we're going to be discussing our best bets, or perhaps even my best bets. But Loshak, I just want to tell you one thing. I am pumped.
All right. That's great, Swinging. No, to any first-time viewers here, that was just a joke. The truth is, the markets couldn't give a flying fuck what Swinging Johnson has to say about any of these games, but I care a lot, and a lot of our regular viewers care. So he definitely has a track record of giving us overall profitable picks. He nailed the Emmys a couple weeks ago, which definitely impressed me, and he and I both did well with our World Cup picks about a month ago. So overall, this show is not too bad. Swinging Johnson, right?
You know, we got a mojo going on here that is flying very much under the radar. And I'll tell you what, for anybody listening, you've been making money, my friend. And as far as you are concerned, little mister, okay, you have had some very successful football seasons as it pertains to beating the number, or ATS, as we like to say, against the number, against the spread. Loshak, there's no question about it. You know what you're doing. And, when you go home at night, among all the blood, sweat, and other bodily fluids strewn about that crime scene of an apartment of yours, I do believe you've got some pretty ingenious software to go along with that very impressive hardware that you like to flaunt.
All right, Swinging Johnson. Well, maybe if we do this show for another 30 years, eventually the markets will start to pay attention. But for now, they're not. But let's hear what you have to tell us about your Week 1 NFL leans.
Well, I'll tell you, I don't know how you feel about Week 1 betting, but I have to tell you, I am initially cautious, maybe overly so, because, to be honest with you, I have not been watching any practices. I rely on only what I see in the preseason, reading the papers or on the net. And, when you get right down to it, Loshak, I mean, does preseason football really tell us anything? You got guys who are playing in Week 1 that are now asking you if you'd like fries to go along with that cheeseburger. And outside of Week 3 in preseason, where you see most of the starters most of the time, I don't think we know much about these teams except how they looked at the end of last season. So I'm just going to give you two picks that jump out to me, because everything else is a pass. The first one being square biz all the way. You can ridicule me and do whatever you like, but I tell you what, man, Philly minus 11 over Jacksonville. I mean, Jacksonville was a fade train last year. They went 5-11 against the number. And I do believe that there's going to be somewhat of a market correction this season, because, the squares are going to line up to fade them again. And I just can't imagine they're going to be that bad. But, if you look at what Philadelphia did down the stretch last season, they finally started buying into what head coach Chip Kelly was selling. They won 7 of 8 down the stretch. If you look at the numbers from last year, Jacksonville was 26th and 29th defensively against the run and the pass, respectively, while Philly had the number 1 rushing offense and the 9th-ranked passing unit. Looks like a mismatch to me. And on a 1 to 5 unit scale, believe it or not, this is a 4-unit play for me.
Actually, I'm about halfway through my intensive Week 1 research, and that's one of the games that I haven't yet gotten to. But all right, Philly minus 11 it is. And your second best bet of the Week 1 card is?
Well, my second best bet, and perhaps the only other bet that I would advise anyone playing would be Cincinnati +2 over the Ravens. Now, Loshak, when I get numbers like 2, I don't get really excited. I mean, to me, it's almost like, well, why don't you grab the juice instead of save the juice? Bet them at a pick on the money line. But you know what will happen? They'll lose by a point, and I'll look like the biggest jackass and feel like the biggest jackass, rightfully so. So because I don't want to be edged like that, I will take the 2 points begrudgingly and pay that 110 for it. But I have to tell you, I'm biased right from the get-go on this, because personally, I don't like the Ravens this year. I told you that. Matter of fact, you and I spoke about this about a month ago when we were talking about the NFL team totals. And at that time, Baltimore was 8.5 over minus 140. And I told all our listeners that Baltimore is going to be lucky to win 7 games. And personally, I think the losing is going to start in week 1 because they are banged up. Their cornerbacks have basically basically been sitting throughout the preseason. Ray Rice is out, and his backup is actually just returning from a mild concussion. I think the Bengals are a great road dog here, and I think this is a 3-unit play for me.
Well, fair enough. Thanks so much for your thoughts, Swinging Johnson. I will definitely remind you next week. We'll either congratulate you, make fun of you, or just shrug our shoulders if the 2 picks go 1-1. Thanks so much, Swinging Johnson. Talk to you again next week.
Always a pleasure, buddy. Thank you.